Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 180th episode of the Poorly Planned Podcast. My name is Benedict. You may know me better as BHL Hudson. Here we talk about movies, TV shows, bunch of nonsense. With me, as always, is my friend, co-host, and John Wick for to be discussed, buddy, Frederick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited.
Yes, sir.
You pissed, John? Brilliant. All right, good start. I'm thinking, when you don't have a distinctive...
I'm gonna need a gun.
When you don't have a distinctive trait to start the pod, I'll just throw a quote at you and hope that you pick up on it in a usual Freddy type way.
God damn, did it work?
And we've had excellent results so far. Today,
survey's just in. It works.
In case you couldn't tell from that intro, we're talking John Wick Chapter 4. We're also going to be doing some newsums first. We're going to be talking the Dwayne Johnson Shazam beef, some Captain America 4 news, Quentin Tarantino latest film, The Movie Critic, starring us, to be discussed, and to be a couple of other things. Before we get into it, right at the top here, the timecodes down below, I just want to throw out here I put out a post about this, but I also want to put it in the pod in case someone didn't see the post, or they don't follow the YouTube or whatever it is. For episode 200, which is approaching rapidly, we're going to be having many a segment, as it were, and one of the segments will be, in fact, a Q&A, but not just any Q&A. A drunk Q&A. I thought this could be a
hammered Q&A.
I'm thinking this will be a good idea, but in, down the line, hindsight might prove that it was not.
In actuality, we might just be complete train wrecks.
Yeah, it might not be anything. But I was thinking, so there's a post, but there's also, if you want to leave a question for that Q&A, that'll be done in Pod 200. You can put it on this video, you can put it on that post on the channel, or you could email it to bhlhudsonvids@gmail.com, and I will also say I will allow for this one, to make it a little more special, if you wanted to do a video question, which can, it can have your face in it, it can just be your voice, it doesn't matter, it can be a text-to-speech, we don't care. You can send those in, and we will either, watch the video and answer the question, or read the question and answer the question, and we'll have a couple of drinks along the way. It'll be great. Very appropriate as well for this episode, because I am, in fact, quite hungover on a Tuesday morning, as it were.
The most proud time to be hungover.
I did
middle of the week in the morning.
Another pub quiz yesterday, and in fact, we did lose again while being on I want to say, over 10-person team, which the limit is 10. So we had more people than we were allowed to have, and I legitimately thought we won. Can you imagine the sadness of the scene when I'm filming on my Snapchat, waiting for him to read out our name, and then we're not number 3, we're not number 2.
You have this video saved.
I deleted it, because then I was like, number 1, we gotta be number 1. And it was not number 1, so it was deeply tragic. But anyway, it is what it is, I suppose.
That is very sad. The day before Monday, so Sunday, I also went to a little pub quiz, and safe to say, we also did not win.
Yeah.
And we also had more than you're allowed to have, and we finished like solid mid-tier table.
We're struggling out here. I don't know. I think we're just not very smart people, possibly.
We might not just be, maybe just not that intelligent. However, on the topic of pub quiz, little birdie told me that a certain BHL Hudson is coming to visit very soon.
Oh, I don't know who.
So,
what stupid birdie would have told you that?
I don't know who could possibly have told you this. So, in honor, I'm going to try and get a movie trivia-based quiz going for the night that you come. And then maybe we just absolutely rig the system.
I love the idea of, that's a complete, just mismanagement of the system of the pub quiz. We rig it to be something we actually know about. What if we lose, though? But I do love the idea of that. That would be great.
That'll be on you.
Okay.
In previous weeks, I have asked for beans.
I see.
Or TikTok dances, types of mustard, and they've granted it every single time. So if they don't grant movie trivia, I'll be very upset with them.
Yeah, that should be an easy one to get. It will be disappointing if I fly, multiple kilometers over there to just lose at another pub quiz. But I have faith in us. I think it'll be great. Newsum, first of all. Let me see.
Ooh, actually.
Oh. Oh.
Wait, before we jump into the newsums,
You dare
I did have,
stop the newsum?
I dare say I have an anecdote
Oh, you
that
do.
I told you about.
Do. Yes, yes.
Just very strange that I just thought I'd quickly throw in here because it was very sweet in a weird way. And just something I thought the pod fans might enjoy a little bit. Just a very short dream. I don't
Please.
remember too much of it, but what I do remember is that in this dream, you are you.
Okay. I like it so far.
I am Nick Miller.
Okay. All right.
We are, as in real life, best friends. I knock on your door. We are living together. I assume we're living in the loft.
In 4D.
I knock on your door, in loft 4D. I knock on your door. You open. You say, "Hey, what's up, man?" I burst into tears.
Oh my god.
And then you and I have an in-depth conversation about how I break up with Reagan.
Wow.
And then we just sit, bro out. We do a classic guys' night where we like do what's it called? Like manicures and
some sangria?
mimosas and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sangria, true. But just a like weirdly delightful, like, because I remember I woke up with like tears all down.
Oh my god.
So I've been like, not because like I didn't wake up sad or anything, but apparently I've been bawling my eyes out in the dream. It's just a weird thing.
That is incredibly
kind of
awesome.
delightful at the same time.
I mean, that works on many levels. A, I have always said that you were Nick Miller and I was Schmidt, so in this way it works. And B, I will say, minus the breakup part, I mean, very much we can make this happen with ease very soon. We can have a sangria guys.
Let's move into Law 4D.
We're gonna play True American. It's gonna be great. Wow, that is a.
We are gonna play True American.
That's
I'm
a
so
beautiful
excited.
dream.
We could film a little bit of that.
Ooh, maybe Pod 200.
Ooh,
but
Pod 200 True American.
That's lovely. I got like just a real like cozy vibe off that. That was great. Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah, it was. I woke up. Despite all the salt and tears in my eyes, I was like, "This is a good time."
Well, I mean, I had a dream last night that one of the film lads was chasing me with a hatchet. So I'm not in the exact same. I would much rather have your kind of dream. That sounds way better. But damn. Well,
chasing me with a hatchet.
Yeah, it was brutal. Well, that is lovely. What a great note to start the pod on. I feel all happy and snuggly
just a little
now.
delightful.
Well, that snuggliness is immediately going to be ruined by this first piece of news.
Because we're about to cover Jonathan Majors.
We are not going to cover that, I've decided. I feel like, we should wait for the news to kind of wrap up on that, because it's still very in the air. And also be potentially a serious situation, and I feel like we're in a bit of a jokey mood, and I feel like we would not handle that.
Yeah, we're in a giggly mode right now.
We would
Maybe
not
not the
handle
best time.
I do that as well with like celebrity death news sometimes, or like I'm like, we probably should talk about it, but then we've just spent 10 minutes making a joke about like a gimp suit or something, like, is it the time? Is it the right moment? So we are aware of that situation, and it's obviously not good. Hopefully things are resolved soon, and we'll talk about it when stuff's more concrete. We are going to talk about, and this is news from a couple weeks now because it's been building up, but Gladiator 2 is happening, directed by Ridley Scott. And it will be about, I'll be honest, I don't remember this character, but I think there's like a little kid character in Gladiator 1 who's like the nephew of the Emperor, maybe? Or the son or the young cousin, some young character in Gladiator 1. And he's now all grown up, and he's going to have his own adventure. So, who do we have in Gladiator 2? Well, we do have Paul Mescal, who I was not...
I thought you were going to say, we do have, as the Gladiator, Paul Rudd.
Taking his least method acting requiring role to date. Paul Mescal, who I have not really heard of, but he was in this movie called After Sun this year. He got nominated for an Oscar. Apparently he's very good, so that's all good. But then, more to our taste, we have Denzel Washington will be making an appearance. And I believe, I was going to say as the protagonist, but I think he might be like the snotty emperor, which no offense to this actor, but I feel like he'd be really good as. We have Barry Keoghan. I'm very upset because I was talking to, for those who don't know, I'm in Ireland currently studying. and I was talking to one of my friends who is Irish, and I said Barry Kilganahan, and he scoffed at me, and he actually told me how to pronounce it, and I've completely forgotten, so I'm sorry.
It's very like Barry Keane or something.
It's something very simple. It's like Barry Keoghan. I think that's it. It's Barry Keoghan. Barry Keoghan. So sorry.
Well, Irish people should just learn how to not spell things.
To be fair,
super weird.
I mean, I'm not like I should not say this here because I could get mugged. But the names Alva, Neve, Kleena, that are Alva spelled Ailbhe. I'm sorry, it's not my fault.
Neve spelled Niamh or some shit.
Yeah, and Kleena, Cliodnha. Come on. Like I have nothing against you, but
come on,
get out. I have nothing against you, but I feel like I could not be blamed so much when I struggle with these. Also, you know what's really unfortunate actually that I've just realized? A lot of people I know now, like personally, actually listen to the pod, which is genuinely scary. Like, at least 3 people who I see pretty much every day listen to the podcast and bring up consistently what I say and call me on various things. So I will not change up how I am.
So not just for the meme, but just they actually sit and watch the episode.
Yeah, no, they'll actually listen. And I mean, it's very nice. They're like, oh, it was really funny. I really enjoyed it, which is great. But then also now that I've, called out like, because one of the people is named Kleena, and I feel like now they will not be a fan of this segment. It's a great, beautiful name, but I'm just saying. Also,
wonderful person, beautiful name.
No.
Hate the spelling of it, and you should change it forever.
Also, correction to issue. A guy who I mentioned, he said that he liked Boromir's death more in the book than the movie. He was upset because he did in fact say the opposite. He liked it more in the movie than the book, so just clarification. Anyway, Gladiator 2. I know that was really important. That was on everyone's mind. Gladiator 2. What do you think of Barry Keoghan and Denzel teaming up for some gladiator action?
Ooh, I do like it. Well, so did you say Barry Keoghan was going to be the main character?
No, so I think he's going to be the snotty emperor villain. Which
the snotty bitch.
He would be really good.
I think he could be a very good snotty bitch.
No offense, nothing against him personally. He seems like a lovely guy, but as seen in his Druig performance, snotty bitch is
nobody likes Druig.
Yeah.
Don't suppose you'd want to fall in love with a boy like me? No, Dom, I don't think I would.
Or were you never nice?
You used to be nice. Weirdly like moany the way you did that.
Or were you never nice?
You used to be nice.
Every man to name knows Mozart's name. Sorry. Yeah. Pretty bad, Gleason.
Your fat fingers struck out me donkey.
Anyway, Gladiator 2, pretty good, I guess. Of all like legacy sequels, it's not the worst idea, I guess, because Ridley Scott is doing it.
I mean, it's also just kind of like, has anyone
why?
Ever asked for this?
No, yeah, it's one of those like why, but I wouldn't be super shocked if it was one of the ones kind of, I'm not saying it'll be a Top Gun Maverick, but if it came out of nowhere and was like, oh, that was actually better than I thought it would be, I wouldn't be surprised. Although Ridley Scott, he's been pretty hit or miss lately, hasn't he?
What's he been doing lately?
He did Ben Affleck and Matt Damon duel each other in terrible wigs. Remember that one? That was a good one. And
God, do I remember?
Christian Bale is Moses, I think, with the movie. So yeah.
You're not helping me.
Okay, sorry. Gods of Egypt. No, not Gods of Egypt. Who gives a shit? Anyway, it'll be fine. By the way, I was gonna say
Christian Bale is Moses the movie.
The musical. I think Air is coming out when I'm going to be in Scotland. I think that could be a good Woody movie. The Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Air Jordan one. True. That could be fun. Anyway, moving on. Quentin Tarantino has his 10th and presumably final film is in the works now.
Quentin.
Which, will be a sad thing, I guess, because I think he's one of my favorite, directors. I love his movies.
Yeah. He's got a great track record.
Yeah, and I think, I'll be happy to have said that I lived in a time where I saw 2 of his films in the cinema, because we saw Once Upon a Time, and we'll see this in the cinema. Anyway, it's tentatively being titled The Movie Critic, apparently. And it'll follow, based on like a real story, or like kind of vaguely inspired by a real story, a female film critic in 70s Los Angeles. So he's He's going back to that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood type of setting.
He loves the 60s, 70s.
The LA Hollywood vibe. And I mean, of course, I'll go see anything Tarantino makes, especially with it being his big final thing.
Big final thing.
I don't really.
I will say, like, I don't know if it's just me, but whenever I think of directors like Ridley Scott or like maybe not Spielberg, but like like a lot of like famous, really good directors, they don't at all compare to Quentin. For me, he's just got this kind of like weird kind of like position of being one of the greatest of all time, and I don't know. I don't know if you feel the same way. Like whenever I think Quentin Tarantino, I think more than just a director. Just kind of a...
You think a
symbol.
I get what you mean, like, in terms of his style of film. Like, people talk about Tarantino being quite, like, derivative because he's inspired by a lot of stuff. But I don't think there's anyone who makes a Tarantino movie, or, like, makes a movie like Tarantino does. And a lot of people have tried, and it's just, like, he has a very distinct style. And I also think he has, like, at least for me, I know some people might disagree, a pretty spotless track record film-wise, because even like Martin Scorsese, who I also like, I love his films and all that, but like, or Steven Spielberg, there are some stinkers in there. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like the fact that
there's a few stinker
the fact
movies.
that he did this whole thing where he was like, I think the reason he wanted to make 10 movies is because he said after the 10th movie, directors start sucking, because like everyone has an expiration date and all that. Like the fact that he's kind of kept it pretty selective. I mean, his worst movie is probably Death Proof,
like Kill Bill.
And I mean, like, my 3 least favorite are probably Death Proof, Jackie Brown, and Kill Bill. And I know that last one's a bit of a hot take from us, but none of those are bad. Like, I think they're all pretty good movies.
Yeah, they're all good. It's just, I don't know. I think you can really tell that, like, similar to the who is it? Is it James? No, it's not James Gunn. It's Guy. Yeah, similar to like Guy Ritchie. You can really tell when someone like wants to do a project and puts effort in versus when they're just doing like a movie. And with him, it feels like all of his movies are something that he actually like really wants to do and takes pride in doing. Yeah. Not just for the sake of doing it,
Yeah, and they've been so like fun and influential and like impactful, and yeah, it's great stuff. This last one, I'm excited for. I'm wondering how he's gonna put his Tarantino-ness on it, because like if it's following like the real life, because I looked into this film critic a little bit, I can't remember her name, that they're saying it might be based on. And there's nothing really, there's some interesting like political stuff there. There's nothing that it screams like super bloody violence, which like all of his movies do have. And I don't know if he could resist.
But you forget that Tarantino does not mind bending everything a little bit.
That is true.
So it might be a movie reviewer, and then out of nowhere, just Michael Caine drops dead and is murdered, and it's a murder mystery.
That's a good point, actually. I thought you were going to say, and out of nowhere, they shoot Hitler with a machine gun, and it's like that scene in Inglourious. It's great.
It's a great movie critic moment.
Yeah. I guess I feel like there's more leeway to do that when you're like dealing with World War II or like slavery or that kind of stuff, where it's just this woman in the 70s who like was a pretty good movie reviewer. I don't know where you like throw in the murdering Hitler scene, but you never know.
Maybe there's just gonna be a bunch of his classic feet scenes.
That's true, actually. Yeah,
could be
the movie critic starring her feet.
The movie critic starring a bunch of little toes.
It's just, he's like, it's my last movie. You've all made fun of me for it for years. I'm just going all out. It's just 2 hours of...
Here's a 2-hour movie
B-roll
of
montage.
Just feet.
Just little piggies.
Tarantino and his 10 little piggies is him like dipping them in gravy and then sucking them off like you would a finger.
Jesus. We are now going to talk... I mean, okay, the 2 pieces of news here that who cares really. Liv Tyler is going to be in Captain America 4. She played the incredible...
Yes! That's great. That's awesome.
I thought you were being completely real there. I was like, wow, really? I'm a big Liv Tyler fan. That's crazy. She was the Hulk's girlfriend in The Incredible Hulk. They're also having Harrison Ford as General Ross in that movie, I think. So it's pretty much just like the Incredible... Oh, no, it's also it's the leader who is the villain in The Incredible Hulk. So they're just making The Incredible Hulk 2, but calling it Captain America starring Anthony Mackie. Bit of a weird one, but who cares? Fine, I guess.
Captain America starring Anthony Mackie.
And they're also making an Aristocats live-action movie. Fuck off.
Why? Why? Did they learn nothing from Cats?
Just so weird to, like... again, we've bemoaned it so much, but like the fact that they're making it for all the ones that are like about anthropomorphic animals, like I get it if it's like Aladdin even, or like even the Jungle Book a little bit because it has a kid in it or whatever, but the one that's literally just about cats. Have you seen the trailer for The Little Mermaid where it's like the crab is just a fucking crab, and it's like, I guarantee you in 20 years people are gonna be like, that was the weirdest fucking thing that ever happened in Hollywood.
That was a really dark period for Hollywood.
They make so much money, so I guess, but it's some weird thing where I think it's like little kids just like, I guess little kids must like it, but it's so...
Yeah, but they're like, oh my god, Sebastian was animated, but now he's an actual crab who's talking.
Oh, who wants that? You weird fucking kid. What's wrong with you? You're ruining Hollywood.
Maybe this is what the movie critic will be about. Weird fucking children, what are you doing?
And the final piece of news that I'm very excited to talk about, we got some Dwayne beef. Cue the intro.
Oh, good. Just a bunch of yelling.
It's just Dwayne's anguished screams. So
eternal painful screams.
So apparently, according to, I don't know who it's according to, it's all kind of alleged, but it seems, I'm going to say, kind of credible based on everything.
Okay.
I think people involved in the Shazam movie, I don't want to say Zachary Levi specifically, but maybe I should have done more research. It's the poorly planned. Anyway, a lot of people are saying this stuff about Dwayne, because we already knew that Dwayne, the reason Black Adam, there was a lot of weird stuff around that, and he's been so defensive about it, is because he was trying to make it like the center of the DCEU. He was like, this is, I'm Dwayne Johnson. I'm going to come in, save this whole franchise. We're going to build the most famous comic franchise of all time around a like D-list character, Black Adam, starring me because I'm Dwayne Johnson. And then apparently they wanted, either they wanted to get him in a post-credit scene for Shazam 2, or they wanted to put Shazam in the post-credit scene for Black Adam, which would make sense because he is a Shazam villain. And to be perfectly honest, I think they should have done Shazam 2, him fighting Black Adam, and then you do the Black Adam spinoff. I feel like that would have been way better.
I think that would have been better.
But so basically, apparently Dwayne Johnson, God.
Oh God,
it's the police coming for Dwayne Johnson. He's on a rampage. But apparently Dwayne Johnson,
he talks shit about Shazam. What the fuck?
He did not allow that to happen. He didn't want that to happen because I guess he didn't want to, I'm going to guess, like be associated with like the Shazam franchise because it's sort of like a bit, smaller, not really that important. It's kind of no one really cares that much about it. And he was like, no, I'm like, Black Adam's going to be like a $1 billion property. All this, I imagine what he's thinking.
How much is it actually made?
I think it did like 400,000, which is like not terrible, but pretty bad.
400,000.
Sorry, 400 million. I think it did like 50
Goodness
bucks.
me, I understand why he is salty.
Yeah, I think Dwayne and his mother saw it, and that was about it. Also, there was a funny moment.
Tom Cruise did not even dress up to go see this one. It was a real stinker.
There was a funny moment from the Oscars where some reporter asked him about like the negative response to it, and I saw a tweet that was like, it's really bold to ask Dwayne Johnson this at an event where someone got slapped last year, because Dwayne was clearly not having it. But it's interesting, and I think there was a couple more things about like how Dwayne, like I don't know, there's some beef there where Zachary Levi and the Shazam crew are not happy with Dwayne Johnson, and they're kind of painting him out as like a little bit of an egomaniac. He wanted everything to run around him, and it's kind of all blown up in his face. And I think,
I see,
like we said last time we talked about this is the first kind of big L that Dwayne has taken. Like,
yeah, first big Dwayne not fat dub.
Yeah,
I will say though, if there is anyone who has who has the right to kind of have that kind of attitude of, I'm one of the biggest stars in the world. If I put in some effort, I could save this franchise, and then it goes tits up, I can see why he'd be a little bit salty. Because, I mean, I get that he is being a little bit of a, maybe he is being a little bit of an egomaniac. But at the same time, it's like, they don't have the luxury of being like, Dwayne, get out of here, when all your movies are kind of doing doo-doo farts.
Sure, I guess you should have accepted Dwayne with open arms. But
yeah.
I get what you mean. I think he is one of the bigger movie stars in the world, and to be fair, like at the end of the day, I mean, first, I'm hungover right now. I don't give a shit about like what. Like, let's be honest.
End of the day,
Who
I just go drinking on Mondays. It's really not a big deal.
Nothing we say or do is gonna like. I don't care what happens to the DC hierarchy at Warner Brothers and who gives a shit. Just make the movie. I'll see the movie. You know, I'm just the bitch consumer. You know what I mean? But I think I
feel like you're negating the entire thing of our podcast. This thing we talk about.
I don't give a
honestly,
shit.
I don't even care. Just make the movie. Do I give a fuck? I don't think so.
I've never cared about movies ever. But
I'm just the consumer.
I think I refer to myself as the bitch consumer. The thing that I was trying to say was like, I don't really care about like, you know, Dwayne Johnson and Zachary Levi. They don't like each other, whatever. I think it's more embarrassing for Dwayne, like how he's handled it publicly. Like the fact that he's kind of, because he's crafted such a PR image of himself, and then he's gone on the defensive and he's been like, well, actually, if you calculate it for inflation, it's like the first Captain America, which if you think about it, that was this. And it's like, Dwayne, stop like floundering. You're making it look way worse than it is. Like if he hadn't said anything,
Dwayne,
no one would care.
Chill the fuck out.
Yeah, like I think there was also a thing about
really no one would care.
Shazam 2, where, spoiler alert, in the post-credit scene, I have not seen it, apparently it's fine, in the post-credit scene, they wanted to have some, this is a terrible story, I'm sorry, I've really fucked this up, I like have no notes on this, but they wanted to have someone show up and they didn't, and maybe it's because of Black Adam or something. I think they wanted to have like a member of the Justice Society show up, but instead they had to get in Harcourt from the Peacemaker show. Do you remember her?
Okay, I mean, yeah,
who I like, but it's also why
like,
would she be in the Shazam movie? Like Shazam and Peacemaker, not at all like mixable properties. One is like
it's like
super
oil
violent
and water.
and
the fuck.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe that's part of it. Just disregard this whole segment. I'm sorry, I fucked this whole thing up. I have no.
Don't say that. Don't say that. You did really good.
The bottom line is Dwayne in some beef. Cue the intro. We start over.
We start the segment over. You will not believe.
So Zachary is in some hot water.
So Zachary and Dwayne going head to head. One is a big muscly man, and the other is a man in a foam suit that looks big and muscly.
He really is in a foam suit, isn't he? Oh boy.
Like Zachary, I would be worried if your body actually looked like that with that tiny head.
Yeah, that is so not healthy. Like. You clearly have hundreds of tumors if your body actually looked like that.
Zachary, you clearly swallowed dozens of bowling balls. It's not healthy.
It's actually, I hadn't thought of it. I was trying to think, like, why does that suit look so upsettingly bad? And you're right. It's because his head is so fucking small. Like, that's the problem. He has this tiny little head, and then it's like his body is like 8 feet wide.
He's done like the reverse of one of those bobbleheads.
Yeah, he really has. They've done a reverse of Dwayne shrinkage in Black Adam, where they made him like a skinny old man or whatever. It's upsetting
also,
both ways.
Has that ever really been addressed? The fact that he was so small in that?
I mean, we addressed it. But I think
we addressed it, but has anyone else brought up this terrible, terrible news?
I don't think so. Also, God, I know I said this last week, but someone better be dying. What is the whole fucking Cork Fire Brigade is out? I hope no one's actually dying for legal reasons.
Cuts to the news. Zachary Levi's house burned down. Dwayne on the run.
For some reason, Zachary Levi lives in Cork City. Dwayne on the run.
And Dwayne just happened to be visiting him for brunch.
Anyway, we're going to move on to the main topic for today.
Ooh.
You pissed? Yeah. I thought you were going to say, I'm going to need a bear.
Hand.
Honestly, I won't lie. Nanawe's acting, Keanu's acting, very similar.
Well, we will address the Keanu acting.
We'll get to it.
So we're going to talk John Wick Chapter 4. I think we can go non-spoilers and then spoilers. There are just like a couple things that are worth spoiling, but I think we can go non-spoilers first. Obviously, if you don't know anything, skip ahead. Or, you know what, because then I have to do 2 different time codes. Should we just do spoilers?
Yeah,
let's just do spoilers.
Way too much work.
Who gives a
shit?
That's
just spoilers. Come on.
Sorry. Skip to the Tom Cnews if you want.
Let's be real. The actual spoilers we end up talking about whenever we say spoilers is usually like one very small dumb detail that we then spin out of control.
And I'm just worried someone will comment like, you didn't say spoiler alert!
You son of a bitch!
So John Wick Chapter 4, a film that we've talked about in the lead up, and I think the consensus was we're excited, but it was a little bit of like a, it'll probably be pretty good. Do we really need this? That's how I felt, at least. I'm speaking for you, but I think that was kind of the vibe. And coming out of it...
I mean, I was excited, but go on. Coming out of it.
I was going to say, coming out of it, I have to say I kind of loved it.
Interesting.
Ooh, are we going to have a difference of opinion pod?
I won't lie.
Oh, no.
Coming out of it.
Oh, no.
I thought that was by far the worst of the 4.
Oh, my God.
It's happening.
We have a debate pod.
Tuesday Night SmackDown is on.
It's Dwayne versus Zachary Levi.
I'm definitely Dwayne.
Oh, fuck. Damn, interesting. Okay, well,
yeah.
I have...
We'll get into it.
I think I have 2, maybe 3 complaints. And then the rest of it...
I have many complaints.
Damn, okay, all right. Well, I'll say... All right, how about... Let me do my piece, then I'll let you do your piece. And then we engage
we'll
in
this
furious
like a UN
battle.
debate.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say, first half hour, I wasn't hating it, but I was not really that into it. I was thinking, the first half hour, for those who haven't seen, I don't know why you'd be listening, but it's a big scene in Tokyo, and it's a big action scene, it's a big shootout and all this stuff, and it's good, and there's some interesting things in there, but I was kind of like, is this movie gonna be... Because I'll be honest, the gun stuff on its own... At this point, because we've seen 4 of these movies, it's still like amazing stunt work if you look at it compared to a lot of other action movies. But for these movies, we've seen a lot of it. I was like, it's gonna be 3 hours of this. Like, I'm not really on board for this. Like, it's fine, but I'll get pretty bored.
May I quickly say, it was in fact in Osaka, not Tokyo. Continue, please.
So sorry. That is on me. My B. But that whole opening bit, and I also thought the introduction of John was kind of confusing, and then they do this kind of like exposition-y thing. The whole first half hour I was like, you know what, this is not going super great. And then once we get to the German nightclub, because John Wick always got to have a nightclub fight scene. I was like, okay, I'm very much here for this. This is great. John Wick is fighting this rotund individual. It's a lot of fun. He's doing spinning kicks and shit. And
I love a good rotund fight.
it was like a very good time. And then from then on, I just really, like, the way that I viewed it, because afterwards I was talking to the guys who I saw it with, and we were talking about how, like, it doesn't have the same character or, like, really great story that, like, the best action movies ever have. And the way I was thinking of it was, I kind of viewed it a bit like Avatar: The Way of Water, where you go to that movie not really for the story, at least for me. You go for the showcase, the like, it's an effect showcase. If you didn't have the effects and it was just a story about like regular people, that movie's nothing. And same with this one. If you didn't have the action scenes, this movie's literally nothing. Like, the story is very basic, the characters, the dialogue, none of it's very good, or like none of it's very special. But you go to it for like a showcase of just incredible action scenes, and I think the variety, the creativity, the fun of it all, like the Arc de Triomphe scene where I love a good people getting hit by cars. It's very comedically great, and just everyone getting slammed by cars and shit. And there's great shootouts going up the stairs, like all these things where in another action movie it'd show all these guys at the stairs, and then it would like cut to the next scene, and you'd be like, how did he get through that? They show you how he gets through it, all this shit. I was very much enjoying it, and I did think even the plot stuff, which is the stuff that I really didn't like in John Wick 3, all the high table, blah, 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 I thought it was a lot better in this movie because it was much more concise and simple, and it's just like, do this duel, get to the duel, you're out, whatever. Yeah. That is my overall, I'm looking at my notes here, overall take. Okay. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you. I have no notes here, Nick Miller style, but I'm just going to go for it. We're going to say, okay, I will say I agree with you on the point that you go to this movie less so for the movie aspect of it and more just the spectacle of the fights. Very true. However, here are my qualms. First of all, 2 hours and 40 minutes, a ridiculously long movie. That does not need to be that long.
I disagree.
No, you
okay, sorry. I'll make some notes here. Furiously typing. Freddy's a... Sorry, I can't say that on the podcast. Sorry, that's a very bad word.
Doesn't know what he's talking about ever.
Doesn't even study film.
Studies environmental science. Opinion is irrelevant.
Whack beard.
This shit is what I do.
I'll just start writing compliments to myself. I'm the goat. Sorry, continue.
My body's really been looking good the last few weeks. He's got nothing on me. Did I hear whack beard, you son of a bitch?
The true, sincere offense in your voice there. It's a beautiful beard, I'd like to say. I
You can say what you will about anything about me, but not this beard.
The beard is beautiful, I'll give you that.
Thank you. Okay, anyways. There's multiple times where I sat there, I was like, again, I do not want this in a John Wick movie where I sit there and think, get on with it. Fuck me. It was so long. I'll say I really did not like Skarsgård as the villain. I thought he was way too like it's a cartoonish kind of like over the top world, but this man was just straight out of a Looney Tunes cartoon. Like what's he doing there? I will also say I didn't really like the guy with the dog. Not a huge fan. He was just kind of there, and then like, you know, it was very, very obvious that he was kind of like, he was saving him, and then he was like, but I'm gonna wait till I get a bit more money and it's worth my time. Like, bitch, of course 20 million is already worth your time. What are you talking about? You save him, and then when you're about to kill him, he saves your dog, and suddenly you're like best friends. Get a new dog. I'm sorry, but like, come on.
Your dog fucking sucks.
Like, what is that? And then like he sits there, like drinks a beer, is like, yeah, that's classic John, you know. Like, you don't know what you're doing. And I won't lie, like from what I saw, like of all the assassins and everything, he did not seem like the most skilled at all. I'd think that John should have been able to take him easily. Moving on, it was a bit of a weird, like the whole thing with the high table and stuff like that. I just didn't really enjoy the thing with his cousin and like that whole side plot. I did like the rotund individual in the fight there. That was good.
It was great, right?
It was pretty fun. But I also the thing where I don't get it, where he just sits and puts down 5 twos, the most nutty man. It's like it's like you just cheated and it's obvious. Why do you think you've won? And then, and this might be controversial.
No.
Whilst the action scenes were long and spectacular,
Oh.
I think they were possibly the least enjoyable ones to watch out of all the movies.
That's a hell of a claim.
I think the reason I say it,
as I crack my knuckles.
God, the comment's gonna devour you on this one, son. This one was more like length over
Girth.
actual like length. This one was a lengthy boy, not that girthy. I think it was length over quality in some parts of it, whereas like I think so, like I don't think there was anything. Well, okay, let's say in the last 3 movies, there's been like 1 or 2 fight scenes that really stood out to me, whereas like I'd look back like, oh my god, that was insane. Like the knife scene in the latest one, or in the third one. That was insane. Like, that's the one you think back on, like, that was incredible. Whereas in this one, every single one of them is good, but it's to the point where you've kind of come to expect it from the franchise, and I don't think it brought that much more. If you saw, like, the kind of the staircase climb in one of the previous movies, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more. But because it is, I don't know, it's just more of the same. And I will also say, in this staircase fight scene, when he then gets pushed down the stairs, he could absolutely have stopped rolling.
No, I mean,
he gets to like the kind of intersection, he just kept rolling. I was like, John, what are you doing? You're making it so stupid.
That was a little slapstick.
I sat there and I just face palmed. Like, he just kept rolling. I was like, John, there's no need for this.
It's like, just like everything this movie goes on for quite a while, that staircase falling scene went for like maybe 2 minutes straight.
Genuinely just 2 minutes of him falling down where like he's got like a good 5 meters where he can stop himself, but he just and I think there's multiple parts with especially in the Osaka castle, which I liked. I think I personally enjoyed the first half of the movie more than the second half.
You have the worst takes on this movie. You have the absolute worst takes I've ever heard.
But even in Osaka castle, there's like sometimes where like and this is a bit nitpicky, but like he was like fighting 2 guys in the like armored like suits, and then he's going for one of them, and then the other one will just sit like passively, like do moves, but not actually do anything. I was like, What is this?
That
This is terrible.
The one critique of the action that I'll absolutely give you, and part again why the first 30 minutes was kind of my least favorite. There were 100% parts where you could very much see how it's a long take action scene, and he's just, like, one of the guys just kind of standing there like boogieing a little bit, waiting for him to.
He was like,
yeah, no, that was definitely yes.
Yeah, that was not good. Everyone in this movie, especially John, takes so much fucking damage that it's ridiculous. Like, in the previous movies, obviously it's been unrealistic, but where it's still like, you can see it kind of like wears him down as the movie goes along. Whereas in this one, in the like Arc de Triomphe scene, he gets hit by 6 different cars.
Yes.
And also like in the second one, they establish like they've got the cool like material sewn into the suits that, you know, kind of like is bulletproof. I was like, but don't get shot because, you know, quite painful, I'm afraid, as the guy says. The suit is bulletproof, but you shouldn't get shot, you know. And then they just start using like the little flap as a shield. He gets hit by 6 different cars. Also, in the end of the last movie, he jumps out, like when Winston shoots him. He jumps off a building and is clearly very hurt. And it's got this whole like rebuild he has to do. Whereas in this one, he does the exact same thing, but is not hurt by it at all.
Yeah, I mean, yes, that was one of my complaints here. It says takes too much damage, but also dies, which is why I'm a little more forgiving, because it does eventually get to him.
Yeah, but that's only the duel that kills him.
No, I mean, yeah, to be fair, I do think, yeah, I think because I was like sort of, and this might just be because I was watching it with like some
but does also die.
I think maybe because I was watching with some friends, we were kind of like, you know, having a good time with it a bit, so I wasn't maybe taking it as seriously as maybe I should have. When he gets hit by 6 cars in a row, I was more like, that's hilarious. Or when he like rolls down the stairs for 2 minutes, I was like, that's so, like, it's just funny to see him just flopping around. But like realistically, yeah, it is much worse than the previous movies where like, even in the third movie, I think he's getting stitched up or something, and then he has to, I don't know, not fight because otherwise he'll start bleeding and all this stuff. And I agree with that. I think he falls off too many things and is okay. I'll just address, I think, the runtime. I disagree. I thought going in, I was like, it's going to be way too long. And genuinely, by the time it was over, to me, it felt like a 2-hour movie. It felt like a breeze. I thought that was, I guess because a lot of it was action, that it was just kind of like going by pretty fast. But I did not feel the runtime at all, personally. I also got to disagree on the Skarsgård. I think he was my favorite villain since maybe Theon Greyjoy in the first one, because just I like Theon Greyjoy's like snivelly little
wimpy bitch.
And this one, like, yeah, he was very over the top, but he was sort of, it was just super pretentious, like just, I don't know, I liked it. I thought he worked for the kind, because it is quite an over the top movie, and I thought he,
yeah, but I don't know.
I thought he worked for it. I will agree with you, guy with the dog. I wasn't nuts about him. I thought he was, especially towards the end, I was like, so what's his, he didn't really get any, there was a lot of build up for him, and then he didn't really get any resolution.
Yeah, he just did, not at all. He's just like, yeah, also, I don't really, I didn't really get the whole Skarsgård thing where it's like, he puts a knife in his hand, he's like, either you're this or that. I was like, not really, you can just pull out the knife. You don't have to go through that whole thing.
Well, I guess it's a villain thing. He's not the most reasonable man.
Skarsgård doing his thing. It's like
he did shoot the concierge, which was a brutal scene, because we do love the concierge.
It was a brutal scene,
and also because he passed away recently, which actually I thought made that more emotional, because he had the this kind of, I don't know, sweet, like they talk about like that they put on his grave like a friend and all this stuff, and I was like, man, like that actually kind of hit more home because the guy passed away in real life. Lance Reddick, I believe his name is, but yeah, the guy with the dog.
He was a great actor as well.
He was honestly like our favorite parts of the previous movies. Really, I know. He was just like
he was so good.
The guy with the dog, I didn't get why he was so much better than everyone besides like the script needs him to be, and at the end, he just kind of sits there and I was like, oh, what was the point of you really? I did like Donnie Yen a lot.
I did like him
the blind guy. Thought he was great. I gotta heavily push back on the action scene thing. I think did the top down action scene not stand out to you? The one where it follows him through the house. I think the Arc de Triomphe action scene stands out.
I will say the house scene was very cool. I think the house scene might have been my favorite one, honestly.
I mean, that was and he got the fucking exploding bullet gun or whatever.
Yeah, the exploding, like, that, I think, was probably my favorite action scene.
Because I think if you I just saw it yesterday, but compared to John Wick 2 and 3, I remember more individual parts of this one. Like, John Wick 3, you remember the knife thing, and that's great. But everything, like, obviously that's great action, but I don't really remember that much else.
There's also the whole Halle Berry thing and stuff like that.
I guess, yeah, also, but I don't think that's better than anything in this movie. Again, it's all great. Like, the whole franchise is amazing action, but I think this one, with the exception of that first bit where they're kind of waiting for Keanu Reeves to do like a judo throw on them. He'd also I love his like vague jujitsu that he kind of like just sweeps the leg all the time, and I'm like, I mean, yeah. you are buying into like that he murders like thousands of people without ever getting shot in a vital organ, or also like no one can go for a headshot in this world. Like they all shoot him in the jacket flap, which again I also think is funny. Even if it's a bulletproof,
but the jacket flap,
if you hold up a bulletproof vest,
slap it away.
Yeah, it's gonna go like under, like it's gonna push it up. But anyway, I don't know. I just thought as a showcase of action scenes, it was really good, and I thought the story wasn't even that bad. Like, it wasn't great, but I thought it was like one of the more interesting ones since the first one. And I think also I quite liked his death at the end. Like, I liked that it happened. I think I did kind of have it spoiled for me a little bit. I respected it because I was like, it felt, if they were going to keep going with it, and it would start to feel like I don't know, any of these franchises that happen now, like Fantastic Beasts or whatever, where it's sort of like, but then the next one's the real big threat, and then the next one, like, you know, because they kind of keep doing that, and where this one, I thought it was like respectful. I was like, oh, he's actually like, and that's the end, and
that's it. I thought they'd already like announced up until John Wick 5.
Well, that was like the big controversy post screening, because I was like, oh, I really like that they did the death, and they were like, well, they already announced John Wick 5, so he's definitely gonna come back, and I was like, all right, chill. First of all, second of all.
Sorry, guys. What the hell?
I don't know. I mean, I think they may have announced that maybe as a red herring because you don't want to spoil that he's going to die in this one. Yeah. I also think, I don't think they'll bring him back. I think this will end the franchise with the exception of one, FTK Gaming, everyone seems to be enjoying this movie. I think it'll end the franchise with like a lot of goodwill, and then they can put their like transfer that goodwill to the spin-offs that they're planning. They're doing one with Anna de Armas coming out next year. They're doing a Continental Winston prequel show, which who knows?
Sounds delightful.
Be kind of a nutty time. So I think if they end the character here, I think he had a great run. There's not much more you can do with that character, I don't think.
No, that is true. Like, he's kind of done everything, I guess.
I think I have one note here of just nuttiness that I enjoyed, just to break up the tension of this debate.
Please. I
really just want the soundbite of when John Wick is in the boat talking to Lawrence Fishburne, and he goes, "Thank you, King." I just want that to be played to me when I do something cool.
Whenever John has any like actual speaking lines that aren't in the middle of an action scene, he's the most awful. Wooden man.
I know it's like, part of it, I guess.
I'm gonna need a gun.
And like the one line,
"Thank you, Winston."
Like everyone,
"Thank you, King."
Everyone laughed in the cinema, and like I know he probably plays it up a little bit. Like I'm sure if he like really had to do his best performance, like he could probably do better acting than that. I think he knows, it's part of the charm. It's the action movie, whatever. But he's very bad. Like it is distractingly like bad at times. I don't know.
It's like, what the hell, John?
Like and like the camera zooms in, and he goes like, "Maybe not," and it's like, oh.
it's like, "You're gonna die." Maybe not. It's like
John. Yeah, no, I will agree that Keanu, beautiful, amazing man. Stinky performance, but
But I dare say his worst acting performance in all four of them.
I would agree. Yeah, I think in the first one he's got that bit where he's like, "I'm thinking I'm back," and it's pretty. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's like, "Hey Jimmy, you working again? Just sorting some stuff out." It's like, "Yes, John. Yes, you are."
Also, when he goes, "Consider this a professional courtesy," when he destroys Common's heart.
When he shatters that bitch in two.
When he annihilates Common's chest.
When he shivs his esophagus. The Common esophagusy.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but I really liked it. I think that's where
I've got less of a qualm, more of a question.
Okay.
Because I love their dynamic, but I thought that John was weirdly way too cool with the fact that Winston shot him last time they met.
Yeah, no, there was a bit of like
It was like, what's that
moving
about?
over that. Yeah, I think
I swear, like I swear when they were talking in the trailer, you saw them like, just go out and enjoy yourself. I swear I thought he was gonna shoot him after that. Like, poof,
I mean,
Winston's dead.
I think I'm not trying to pawn off problems or anything, but I still stand by, like, because I remember when we saw the third movie, that ending confused me so much. I was just like, what a weird ending. And I feel
Winston,
like if you
what the hell?
Like, I feel like if you hadn't done that in that movie, and then just like had this movie kind of pick up, because it kind of feels like it didn't happen, which I guess is this movie's fault for not like bridging that gap better. But that whole thing was just kind of strange, because in this movie you didn't really need it. They just like reference it once. He's like, I shot him, and he's like, and yet he still roams the streets, or whatever he says in his French voice.
And yet he's still at large.
But yes, no, I agree, they were weirdly cool. But I guess you're in assassin world, you know, you hand people some coins and stuff. Well, by the way, what do you think of the nunchucks? I just want to throw that out there. By the way, a lot of ball shots in this, with the nunchucks, with the dog.
Lot of ball shots.
A lot of people getting them nuts hit.
Nunchucks were pretty cool.
I feel like I get a slight vibe that in his spare time, Keanu Reeves got really good with the nunchucks, and he asked
like,
for a favor.
guys.
He was like, "Can we maybe? Can we throw this,
Guys, it was cool.
I imagine
it did seem a little out of
he
out of
walked into
nowhere.
like a meeting with the director, and then like with the nunchucks, and the director's like, "Okay," and he was like.
The director's just like,
all right,
okay,
fine. If
fine,
it
Keanu.
gets you to leave, we can do it.
There was actually 7 more movies scheduled, but after that, they're like, okay, we're definitely killing him with this one.
They couldn't put up with it.
He got completely unbearable to work with.
Keanu got really good at falling downstairs. He wanted to practice his pratfall. He's been doing a lot of comedic theater lately. They're like, okay, fine, we'll throw you down the stairs. Also,
John, I need you to fall down 1 set, 10 steps. That's it. Got it, boss. All 200 steps.
Watch this. He just fucking flings himself. Yeah, they didn't ask him to do any of that.
He's like, I won't do it. Throws his nunchucks down the stairs. He springs at them like a dog.
It reminded me of the scene in Kung Fu Panda where he falls down all the fucking stairs.
Very
also,
true.
by the way, there's no fucking chance they got up those stairs in 3 minutes. Like, even just walking up the stairs, it would take more than 3 minutes. Killing everyone, that was like a 10-minute sequence, and then they arrive at the duel. I did like the duel at the end, though, to be fair. I did think that was pretty good. A little bit of a Western feel
The duel was good. But again, I would argue, of all the damage he's taken in all these movies, a shot to the gut, come on, that's not going to kill a man.
But I guess that was, he also fell down those 200 stairs, so like it was probably more of the concussion that he got from all that than like the shattered bones. Like he had no idea where he was for that entire final
sequence. His cranium
sequence.
was just mush. It was just a blend of bone fragments and brain.
Just had like a big dent in the side of his head. They're like,
the last 30 minutes he's dead. It's just muscle memory.
He's like a chicken with no head running around. Yeah. Well, I think that concludes our John Wick Chapter 4 talk. I'm surprised. I thought I was turning into a cynical asshole, but I have to say, as of late, a lot of movies you've not been a big fan of that I thought you would. I don't know. No pressure to like things. I mean, it's your opinion, but
sounds like you're pressuring me right now.
I'm just saying, maybe lighten up, asshole.
No, I don't know. Like my takeaway from this is just that this one went for more of the less of a movie, more of the just kind of like long action scenes, which I think if the movie, maybe the France scene or like the Arc de Triomphe scene was like, instead of being 6 hours long, was 2 hours long, that would have made it a bit better. Just like cut it down a little bit and then add a bit of substance to the story, because I think that was missing from this one a bit, which kind of took away from the whole experience for me. Again, I sounded very like cynical and I've been shitting on it a lot. I did not hate it. I think it's maybe a 5 or 6 out of 10.
Wow. So one could say you would describe it as mid.
I dare say a mid experience. Again, like surpasses many other things in terms of action, but as a movie on its own and or a movie as a whole, kind of mid.
Again, I would point to my Avatar comparison on that point, just as because as a movie, yes, but like for me, I went into it expecting like a show reel basically of action. I think there was enough story. I enjoyed the Skarsgård villainy to tie it together enough for me to say I had a very good time with it, and I think it's the second best of the series personally. I think it goes number 1, number 4, number 2, number 3 for me.
Interesting. I think for me it goes number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4.
I would say it is I would go in an 8.8 out of 10 personally. I had a very good time with it. Again, I don't know if I would
John Wick fanboy.
I don't know if I would watch it again, at least soon. I'd probably watch a lot of the scenes on YouTube. But I had a lot of fun with it, and you did not. I guess we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
With that in mind,
let's not create a rift here.
it is now time for
The Dumb News.
So I found a great article here from geo.tv. This obviously took years of research, I see. It is titled
a journal article.
What makes Tom Cruise Hollywood's quote-unquote least eligible bachelor? Followed by, of course, my favorite phrase, deets inside.
Oh goodness.
So let's see what the deets are.
Let's get those deets.
So he recently topped the sexiest male actor in Hollywood list after a poll conducted on Mother's Day. That feels wrong. I'll just be honest. So Tom Cruise, big favorite amongst the MILFs these days, I believe.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So all the 50-year-old moms out there just thirsting for that Cruise girth. Don't know what that's about.
According to Radar Online, the Mission Impossible star is reportedly looking for a partner. However, his quote-unquote controlling personality is creating trouble for the star to connect with someone special. So there's some source.
I can definitely imagine Cruise just putting out on all his social medias, currently looking for a partner.
This alleged source says his reputation isn't great. The whole Scientology thing is a bit of a turnoff for most women, and he can't exactly downplay it. Any partner is an extension of him and his brand. He's known for micromanaging. I mean, this could all be bullshit, but also this is not hard to believe at all. I guess we're fans of him, but I will go on record to say I think he's a bit of a weirdo. Like, he gives strange vibes.
He does give strange vibes.
He seems like he'd be a very controlling, intense, romantic partner.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be a very comfortable living situation.
There was actually, I thought it was funny, that video of someone squirting water on him resurfaced recently, and on Twitter, someone was like, if Tom Cruise wasn't attractive, I think he would have been like an amazing villainous character actor because he's so scary and like so intense. And like I agree, I was like, damn, like he could really be like a Jack Nicholson or something where it's just like all these creepy intense roles. But yeah, he did date Haley Atwell recently-ish, but I guess that didn't work. The source says his controlling ways got too much for her and she ended it. So again, who knows if this is true? It's all just bullshit gossip, as Tom Cnews usually is. But also, yeah, not hard to believe. Strange dude, probably. Get that
Strange
vibe.
Dude. I mean, he avoided the Oscars to avoid his ex.
Well, that's alleged. It was also apparently to go to some birthday party of someone famous, maybe? I don't know. Who cares? None of it matters.
Who cares? I don't even know why we're talking about
We're just bitch consumers. We're going to go to the comments of the latest pod for the announcements and such. Let's see what the people have to say. Josie says, I agree with Freddie on Everything Everywhere All at Once. It was good, but it did not deserve all those Oscars. I was rooting for Top Gun, to be honest. Damn. Big Josie opinion. He also says, hashtag play the full anime intro. Never. ZJ says...
Oh, fuck. I did not check the latest episode. I
didn't play it. I didn't put it in.
Oh, you just straight up didn't play it?
Straight up didn't put it in. Yeah, I'm sorry. ZJ says, nice that after a long...
I respect your honesty.
stressful week of school due to taking the SATs, I can lay down and listen to an episode of the Poorly Planned podcast. Also, Pedro Pascal, what a daddy. And something funny is I saw the tweet about Tom Cruise seeing The Flash while listening to the last episode of the pod. Glad we could help unwind from SATs and such. And Pedro Pascal, as he put it himself, daddy is a state of mind or something.
Daddy is a state of mind.
Anson says, The Last of Us, absolutely incredible. I cried 6 out of its 9 episodes. That's an insane percentage. Wonderful series. And Josie says 6 out of 9. Nice. Josie coming in with the classic memes.
Josie coming in with the top tier humor.
Daniel at the movie says, another really great and enjoyable episode. Keep up with the Rakakuni-esque work. I love that BHL calls the Lord of the Rings fans nerds for knowing about a lot about Lord of the Rings. But yet in the Harry Potter quiz episode, he knows everything about Harry Potter. So, ... That is a fair diss. And the fact that BHL called Lord of the Rings mid, I was not a fan of. Lord of the Rings is my favorite film of all time, so calling it mid, rare BHL. For the record, I didn't call Lord of the Rings mid, I called fellow mid of the ring mid. And it's not even mid, it's pretty good. Hashtag play the full anime intro, and Freddy's calling swarms chunks disturbed me. He should know better. To call...
I really should know better.
To call the god swarms chunks, ... we need the gimp suit episode. You know, Josie or Daniel always got a lot to say, and we appreciate that. Thank you, Daniel. And yeah, gimp suit episode in the works, and we will work on our chunks swarms clarification.
Identification of the two.
Al Feld asks an unfortunate question: when will the next Versus or Characters We Can Beat Up episode come out? Funny you should ask.
That is a hilarious question given the circumstances.
So hopefully soon, because I do really love making those. But we did in fact try to record a pre-recorded episode of video game characters we could beat up, I believe suggested by Al Feld. And it did in fact result in a disastrous recording. It was just not good. It was bad all around, and we stopped it halfway through, and we were just like, this is not it.
We just kind of agreed. We're like, we'll reconvene next week, because this right here.
We were literally like, this is not working. Yeah, I'll see you on Saturday, I guess. we have the audio, and one day we will put it out as we will,
along with the It Chapter 2.
Yeah, with all our super mid content. But yeah, we were just recording. It was just, we were kind of struggling to find good characters, and like we just, our only recurring bit was about putting people
falling in a
hole with Mario's corpse, and it was just kind of more morbid than funny. It was a rough one. So hopefully soon, we can plan it out a little bit more. I think those might need a little more, like just a tiny bit more planning on our part, just to like make sure we can pull it off. Yeah. But hopefully soon. But yeah, that was a bit of a rough one. Jaden says, can we get a Tom Cnews in the style of What If I Told You Tom Cruise Had That Dog in Him, where BHL goes through the most interesting Tom Cnews of the past pods. Actually thinking about that could be a whole pod in itself. That is one of the greatest ideas I've ever heard in my life.
That is so good.
Could we do a pre-recorded pod of just going through previous Tom Cnews stories, but also occasionally in the style of What If I Told You Tom Cruise Had That Dog in Him?
What if I told you Tom Cruise had that cake?
Sensational.
What if I told you he was currently looking for a partner? Ain't no hounding his dog.
Oh my god. Anyway, that's a great idea. Thank you, Jaden. Cal W says, I agree with you on The Mandalorian. I feel like there's a lack of urgency, and I always hate that the cliffhanger of the second season was resolved in a bad Boba Fett spinoff, but we still have 4 more episodes to go, so we'll see. Yeah, I do agree. Yogi Eloso says, giraffe. And... if you remember, in the previous episode, he commented bear. So I think Yogi could just have like a recurring segment on this show, really. Never seen him before, by the way. Don't know who this is. A new listener, I'm assuming. But I like his energy already, so welcome to the community.
I enjoy what he's doing a lot.
He's got some ideas that are pretty radical, but I'm happy with them.
But sometimes change is necessary.
Harry Hammond says, another great episode, lads. I'm always looking forward to a new episode every week. This episode was very #goblin mode. Thank you, Harry. I'm glad you enjoyed.
Very #goblin mode.
And Super Mason 200 says, salutations. May I be friends with Frederick? Which, first of all, I enjoy him asking me permission as if you were like a small dog that I own.
Why do you assume this question is posed to you?
Because I feel like he would have written, may I be friends with you, Frederick? But he was like, salutations.
Could I get the boy on the line? Well, salutations right back at you.
There we go.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. We are now going to go to the
beautiful moment.
Instagram. Let's see if there's anything on the fan page. Don't believe there is. Although, big shout out to Cian. That is the wrong page. Poorly. Oh my god, we have 3 fan pages? Oh no, that was the backup, sorry.
Yeah, that was the backup he made.
Shout out to Cian, because he got into like a festival with a short film that he made. Congratulations, Cian. That's a big move. Keep it up. I do believe that is the episode for this week. So if you enjoyed, drop a like, subscribe, hit the bell button, leave a comment down below what you thought of John Wick 4, who you agree with in this tense global debate. What you thought of the episode. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave a 5-star rating, a nice review. Tell your friends about the pod. You can find me on YouTube, BHL Hudson, Instagram, Twitter, BHL_Hudson, TikTok, BHL Hudson, Letterboxd, Real BHL Hudson. You can email the pod at bhlhudsonvids@gmail.com. All these links are down below.
You can find me on Twitter at FTK_AdultSniper. You can find me on Instagram at Fidalgard. You can find me on Letterboxd at FTK_Thwilms. And on YouTube at FTK Space Gaming.
Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a bird.
Maybe not.